So, ChatGPT has recently released a new study mode to promote more responsible AI use when it comes to academic purposes. So, when you ask ChatGPT a question, it directly gives you an answer. For example, you ask it, what's 5 squared? And it'll just tell you 25, rather than telling you how it got to 25. What that is doing is it's making it too easy for them to get to an answer. And while it saves time, it's actually hurting them because they're not really learning. They're just filling in blanks on their homework. And kids, given their age and limited experience, probably lack the critical thinking and the knowledge required to critique or double check these answers. So it's creating a generation that doesn't think. To tackle that problem, OpenAI released this feature. So here we are in ChatGPT, and I'm going to turn on study mode. And to start off, I'm going to give it a very simple question like, what's 10 plus 23? Okay, so it's trying to test for my mental sums, so I'm going to give it a wrong answer on purpose. Okay, now that I've given it the wrong answer, it'll start to walk me through the problem. So it starts with a higher number, that is 23, and adds 10, which means you just increase the tens place by 1. So you can see that it's trying to get you to think. It's trying to help you to work through the problem rather than just giving you the answer. Okay, so now it's given me another question just to check my understanding, and let's try giving it the wrong answer again. So I'm just going to say 100. It goes through each number one by one. It starts breaking them down, 4 tens, 0 ones, 2 tens, 6 ones, and then takes you through the addition. So you can see why this is useful. I like how it tries to encourage active participation because that's really important when it comes to learning. Okay, so for the next one, I'm going to give it my lecture notes and ask it how to diagnose ankle sprain. Okay, you can see it has broken it down into steps like history taking, observation, special tests, which is great. It's good that I don't have to explicitly tell it what to do. It just knows. So I'm just going to say, sure, let's try diagnosing. Alright, so it has given me a sample case, which is extremely vague, by the way, and it wants me to go through the history taking process. So the first question that it gives me is, what was the movement that created this injury? Since lateral ankle sprains are more common, I'm just going to say inversion. Okay, and now it has taken me to step 2, which is symptom behavior. I'm not going to bore you with the details here, so let's just skip to the part about why it's useful. Hopefully by now you can see how this works. It guides you and then it asks you a question, and then guides you again and then asks you a question. It's trying to enforce that thinking process. Okay, so now with these lecture notes, I'm going to ask it to prepare me for an upcoming quiz. So to start off, it gave me an overview, and then it gives me a mini quiz with 5 questions. Should I just give it all the wrong answers just for fun? Okay, so it checks through my answers, it tells me that I'm wrong, and then it walks me through why that is the answer, and then gives me more questions to practice, and even has a bit of a sense of humor. Okay, so for the next example, let's talk about something that's more abstract, more complex, and something that I actually have no idea about, like what is game theory? Even before it starts explaining what game theory is, it asks me what my current level is. Then it gives me a short introduction, the key parts. I'll come back another time to continue this video. Thanks, OpenAI. Okay, so for a start, it asks me 2 questions. What level I'm at in terms of schooling, and what's my reason for learning game theory? And once you give it an answer, it will tune its feedback according to your answer. So it gives me a real life scenario about 2 firms and asks me for my opinion. Okay, so it created a payoff table just to explain its point better. And then again, it asks me which option seems like the better one. And if it feels like that I'm not thinking along the right lines, it'll give me a very elaborate explanation. This is actually fun. I think I know what I'm going to do after I'm done with this video. To summarize, regardless of how well you know the topic, it will walk you through in a very friendly and easy to understand manner. And what's good is that it even asks you what level you are at. So why is this different from normal ChatGPT? Biggest reason is that you don't have to prompt it into taking a certain approach. yet it facilitates Socratic thinking, self reflection, and active engagement. You're not getting the answer directly, but you're working your way towards it, which enforces that critical thinking. And then there are also quizzes, which reinforces that knowledge and promotes active recall. Limitations wise, my biggest concern is to what extent it can read my PDFs, because I've had this problem with AI chatbots where they can't fully process my PDFs and resort to searching the internet, which is not what I want. The next biggest concern is what's stopping students from jumping to the normal version of ChatGPT and going straight to the answer. It really comes down to discipline, and some kids, especially in this short form video generation, can be quite impatient. So, what's stopping them from skipping this whole process of questioning and getting straight to the answer? It comes down to the same dichotomy of AI being a double edged sword. Is this feature useful? Yes, if you actually go through the process of thinking and questioning along with it, it has great potential. And at the time of making of this video, it hasn't even been 1 week since the feature came out, and I'm sure it'll continue to improve in the future. Will I be using it? No, unlikely. Because of my experiences with AI, I've kind of started resenting it in my study process. It's still incredibly useful, and I'm not saying you shouldn't use it. It just feels like it's not working out for me. Anyway, I hope you took something away from this video. If you did, please drop a like. I will really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more such videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.